friends, I am Dr. Gurva Reddy. Today we are going to talk about how we develop immunity and what is the COVID-19 vaccine status. We will make it into two parts. The first part we will talk about immunity and how the vaccines are developed in the world and why Oxford is in the forefront of vaccine production. And in part 2, I will give you the interview which I have done with Dr. Varaprasad Reddy, chairman of Shanta Biotech and the father figure of Indian vaccine industry. The COVID-19 has got a protein spikes on its body. These protein spikes will come and attach to the ACE2 receptors on the alveolar cells of the lung of human body. Once they attach, the virus gets entry into the cell. Then the virus takes over the cell as its own factory. So that means it will dictate the human cell to produce the viruses in millions as per its wish. So once these viruses are replicated and repackaged, come out of the cell, the body sends antigen processing cells to engulf this virus, and this in turn activates the T cells, and then they activate the B cells which produce antibodies. And these antibodies are the real policemen. And these antibodies go and attach to the virus and serves two purposes. One is it will not allow the virus to stick to another cell. Number two, it tags the virus so that all the killer mechanism of the body identifies and destroys this virus. That is how the immunity system works in our bodies against a virus. Now let us talk about what are the types of vaccines which are in production for the COVID-19. There are basically four types of vaccines. One is virus-based vaccines. Second is nucleic acid-based vaccines. Third is protein-based vaccines. And fourth is viral vector-based vaccines. Let us see what they mean to us. Virus vaccines are the most common vaccines which are in use nowadays. For example, measles and polio. Vaccines of this nature needs extensive safety testing. They are either inactivated by chemicals like formaldehyde. Sinovac, a company in China, is already producing inactivated vaccine. The weakened virus means the virus is passed through different animals or human cells so that its infectious capacity is reduced, and then only it will be injected into the vaccine form. We will talk about nucleic acid vaccines. Here the virus is not handled at all. Instead of that, nucleic material like DNA or RNA are put into the cell, which will churn out the protein of the virus, which will in turn provoke the antigenic response from the human body. Two German companies are into the production of vaccine through this method, the nucleic acid or genetic based method. One is BioNTech and another is CureTech. Then we got protein based vaccines. Here the actual virus protein is broken into pieces, and this protein is injected into the cells, which will provoke the antigenic reaction. Now let us go to the most fascinating method of vaccine production as it stands now. That is viral vector based. The scientists use some other viruses to mimic coronavirus actions in the body. For example, the Oxford group is using adenovirus to mimic the coronavirus protein in the body, which will provoke the antigenic reaction. The advantage is that these vectors are already tested in other situations many more times in the past, so that the safety is already established. And these are also tested in chimpanzees and in monkeys, which are closest to the human being. So without testing in animals now, this can directly be tested in the human beings with a reasonable confidence of safety. So this is the method Oxford is producing the vaccine now. Now let us see why Oxford is in the forefront in the race to produce the vaccine for COVID-19. Oxford project is stationed in Jenner Institute, and I'm sure you all must have heard about Jenner. He's a famous man who has invented vaccine for smallpox. So this Jenner Institute is now headed by Professor Adrian Hill. In Oxford, what they are doing is, it's not a new vaccine. It was an old vaccine. In other words, they are using another virus to tweak its genetic composition and mimic the COVID, the bad guy virus. So what happens is, when this is tweaked and this mimics the COVID when it enters the body and the antibodies develop, and these antibodies think that this is COVID and they are ready. But when real bad guy comes in, that when real COVID comes inside, these antibodies are already ready there to fire their bullets. They are working with this vaccine for the last 2 decades. Initially, they found a respiratory virus in chimpanzee. They tried it on malaria, but unfortunately they could not succeed. Then another scientist called Sarah Gilbert tried the same vaccine on Ebola and MERS, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. And they found this vaccine to be very safe in the human trials in these 2 conditions. And that's why they are now doing a repurposing of the same vaccine. The Oxford vaccine now is already tested in 6 rhesus monkeys in Rocky Mountain laboratories in Montana. Rhesus monkeys, as you know, are the closest genetic relatives for human beings. And after giving the vaccine, all these monkeys were given heavy doses of COVID-19 virus. And after 28 days, all these monkeys were very hale and healthy. So that gives a very significant breakthrough of a confidence of safety in human beings, because rhesus and monkeys and human beings are almost same. So that's why this lengthy process of testing safety trials in human beings is taken off, and that's why this time is attenuated in this case.
Several indicators that this could be a very useful vaccine. One is, of course, that it's simply a single dose. Many of the other vaccines that are being developed will need 2 doses or maybe even 3 that will take months to administer. So this is much more suitable for this sort of pandemic situation. Secondly, this type of vaccine technology has been used in thousands of people before where it's been safe. So we would anticipate that it will be safe again as a COVID vaccine. And very importantly, there is a way of scaling up the manufacture of this vaccine, not just in Europe, but with partners around the world, to make sure that we can manufacture, as you say, hundreds of millions of doses. And one of our main partners helping in this work is an Indian company, the Serum Institute of India.
In Oxford phase 1 clinical trial, already 1100 members were injected. Next, in June, another 5000 volunteers will be taken. And phase 2 and phase 3, that means phase 2 is for the safety and phase 3 for the efficacy, will be run parallelly. And by September, if everything goes well, the Oxford will be able to give the world a vaccine. But that vaccine has to be produced in bulk by the Serum Institute of India, which is based in Pune. Bharat Biotech is a big player in vaccine production, which is based in Hyderabad. This is co-founded by wife and husband Suchitra and Krishna Ella, who happen to be good friends of mine. They collaborated with University of Wisconsin in America and a vaccine producer, FluGen. They are trying to produce a combination vaccine which will be useful for coronavirus and influenza, called Coroflu. This will be administered intranasally through the nose. They will take M2SR, a unique flu virus, which is a single replicating virus. So they are trying to put the genome of coronavirus into this virus and produce a vaccine which will be useful both for influenza and the corona.
We hope to, work on this platform technology because it has been proven for the flu virus earlier. So we find this to be a very apt way of getting the COVID-19 spike protein into this platform and taking it forward as a potential vaccine candidate.
If you are lucky, these trials will get good results and we will have a mass vaccine available for us in the first quarter of next year. If these trials fail, we are back to square one. In fact, when HIV came, many people foresaw that there is going to be a great vaccine. But till today, there is no vaccine. It might be interesting to know that there are no vaccines for HIV and malaria till today. So let us hope that coronavirus will give us enough time and scope to produce a great vaccine to counter it. This is my house. I live in Rajendra Nagar, Hyderabad. Now, today I am going to do interview of a great personality, Dr. Varaprasad Reddy, Shanta Biotech chairman. This interview is specifically to dispel a lot of myths about the COVID vaccine in India. So I am going to his house, which is my neighbor. Now I am in Varaprasad Reddy's house. He is a Padma Bhushan awardee and chairman of Shanta Biotech. I call him as a Bhishma of Indian vaccine industry. Good morning, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste. When did you enter this vaccine industry? What was your first vaccine?
I have to admit that I am not scientist. I am an engineer, electronics engineer.
So you started against all the odds, Shanta Biotech.
Yes.
And when was your first success story?
93 we started our
Okay.
research work. By 95 October we are ready with our own facility.
Okay.
But research was going on
Going
from
on.
93 onwards
Okay.
with all Indian scientists.
Yeah.
Totally indigenous.
So right.
I had a lot of belief in our Indian science,
Yeah.
Indian engineers, Indian
Yeah.
doctors.
And he saw to that all the scientists were Indian. Yeah. So when was
So
the first vaccine?
97 August
Yeah.
we could launch first recombinant DNA product in India.
At that time, how much the vaccine was costing?
It was costing in Indian terms, it was costing 840 rupees, one dose.
A child in 1997, if he needs to be vaccinated for hepatitis B, he got to spend 2,500 rupees for an imported vaccine. Dr. Varaprasad Reddy sold it for 150 rupees. But why this past is important? Because this is the foundation on which the whole Indian multi-billion-dollar vaccine industry has been built so successfully that now the whole world is looking at India for bulk production of any vaccine.
For export of any vaccine, we need to have WHO pre-qualification. We are the first country to go to WHO
Yeah.
pre-qualification. UNICEF was buying and giving to poor countries at the rate of $8.5.
And
We have given it 23 cents.
Yeah.
The cost of developing a vaccine in other countries, Western countries, anywhere between 600 million to 800 million.
How much it costs in India?
The same vaccine we have to replicate it through different needs and ways.
Yeah.
We have spent about 50 crores.
50 crores. That means how many millions in that?
No, 10 million.
10
In those days.
And those 10 million. So 600 millions versus 10 million. That's why the mass or bulk production of the vaccine in India is such a low cost. Even China cannot beat us.
Even if development is being done with the collaboration from Western society, ultimately that vaccine can reach more people,
Only through
common
India.
people through India.
Now I want you to tell exactly how many laboratories are in the forefront in India.
Shanta, a part of Sanofi. Bharat Biotech is on the job.
Bharat Biotech of Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. Indian Immunologicals, there is also government institution in Hyderabad. Serum Institute is in Pune, and one more company, Biological Evans in Hyderabad.
Yesterday I saw the interview of Soumya Swaminathan, one of the senior
I know.
health advisors of World Health Organization, that she said that there are 7 companies
In the
who have
world.
gone to the phase 1 clinical trials on human beings. She told 2 from China, 2 from Germany, Two from America and one from England.
England.
So those
England
are
is only Oxford.
Oxford.
All these phase one, they could come up to this point. It's very fast. But they have been on this job from January itself.
From January.
One.
Yeah.
Second thing, in my time, I
Mm.
mean 92s, 93s, 95s,
Mm.
we used to go through the virus total genome sequencing.
Yeah.
It used to take 5 to 6 months for us.
Okay.
Now, they have ready-made launching pads.
Okay.
They attenuated the time
That's right.
because
Yeah.
they have a lot of database. They don't have to produce a new plasmid.
New
for us.
plasmid. Plasmid is like a utensil where you put the ingredients. It is a carrier through which the whole virus genome is fixed into that, and this plasmid is put into the vaccine. In this plasmid production and in these platforms and in the animal models, all of them are already done. So that's why the time needed for vaccine production is now attenuated. There is another thing which I read called compassionate vaccine guidelines. What does that mean? That
They-
is without
yes.
putting on the animals?
Yeah.
Ah,
Because this virus, similar viruses are there in our data bank.
yeah,
How they behave with the animals, they already have some data bank.
correct.
They presume
Yeah,
it may be the same.
yeah,
It is a compassionate call.
call.
In Indian Drug Act, whatever you develop, whatever you produce, you use that medicine or that vaccine for conducting trials, cannot be commercialized. You have to put it down the drain.
Down the drain.
Now in this compassionate time,
That exception is given.
that exception is given.
So whatever you use for the clinical trials, the same material can be used for the bulk
Bulk also.
production also.
Commercialization also.
Commercialization also.
Taking that as cue,
Mm.
smart people like Serum, they already started producing.
Producing, right.
Enormous, but they are taking the risk. Suppose the trials fail,
Yeah,
they lose money.
lose money.
They
Yes.
are producing ready. They are ready with the stockpile.
Stockpile. Yeah,
The moment they get a license,
Yeah.
they can dump
That's
it in the
right,
market.
yeah.
That
So-
helps people.
yeah.
That helps them also. After giving the vaccine, they have to watch it for after 30 days, sometimes 45 days.
Right.
For hepatitis B, 6 months.
Right, okay.
For coronavirus vaccine, they are saying
Yeah.
30 days minimum.
Right. Now let us come to this present situation again. So now the Oxford phase 1 clinical trials are going on, that is everybody knows. So now they got to do that phase 2 also, but as you had said, phase 2 also as a subset is involved in the phase 1.
Phase 1.
And then they will go to the phase
Phase
3.
three.
Phase 3 they will randomly collect the people
Correct.
and they will collect different groups of people.
Yes.
How, can I ask you, when is the first vaccine can come where I can go and get this injected? Realistic terms.
Sir, if it depends on the Oxford trials in UK, they are successful by end of this year. Then they will transfer the total technology. And our people will start doing some what you call limited trials. It is called compassionate vaccine.
Yeah, okay.
Then our drug controller has to observe how many people he will decide.
Yeah.
But everyone is waiting for that day.
Correct.
So they are not going to read the rule book.
Yeah.
Rule book is set aside.
Set aside. It's a
Now
war
the
time.
new rule is to save people.
People.
In that process, they will definitely give a very limited trial.
Mm.
That limited trial also will take 3 months to 4 months.
3 months more. So,
In my opinion, April, May.
yeah, that's what you are saying all the time. So,
It has taken from January to May of next
Yeah.
year, 18 months.
That's right.
That's what I was
yeah.
talking.
So as Dr. Varaprasad Reddy told in the previous interviews, he is still sticking to the same argument. It will be available by April, May of 2021. By the time COVID-19 becomes silent, what happens? Has it happened like that before?
Yeah, for Ebola, nobody is talking about it,
Yeah.
In the global scenario,
Yeah.
either Sanofi or GSK, they are the two vaccine majors.
Correct.
They normally don't see eye to eye
Mm.
because of the competition.
Yeah.
They have come together because of COVID, thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
They are jointly developing
Yeah.
vaccine
Yeah.
at the initial. They want to combine together, make a very effective vaccine,
Yeah.
and they are designed in such a way, even tomorrow a Corona 2 comes, it can answer.
So this scientific collaboration of the two
It is
giants
a broad spectrum viral vaccine.
will take a broad spectrum viral vaccine. So
In-
suppose tomorrow the
the
COVID
mutants are also
yeah,
they will take.
they will take it. So it's a wonderful thing. I think that will take time, but that will be a robust vaccine
Robust.
for the future.
They also, the instruction what we have from them, Sanofi is, Shantash is the place where they are going to produce
Okay.
for cost effectiveness.
Okay.
Global production is going to be here.
All right. Okay.
Probably by next February we should be ready, that's what they said.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving us this insight into the vaccine production and the reality check.